Welcome back. This is Cowboy Shit with Ted and Wacey. My name is Ted Stovin. He's Wacey Anderson. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little shitty today.
You came down with a case of the vid.
Yeah, I got the Rona. It's funny. I saw a tweet from Kristen Anderson. She works for Post Media here in Calgary.
I've met Kristen, I think.
Yeah, she and I met probably like 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there during the Calgary Stampede. And she works the Stampede every year. Her and Wes Gilbertson usually for Post Media. Kristen does the rodeo. Wes does the chuck. Sometimes they do a little bit of both, I guess.
And they both cover the flames.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's been fun to we met at the airport one time, Wace, actually, I think.
Oh, nice.
Now we're going somewhere. Maybe Storm and I were. I don't know. Anyways. But she was like, I dipped, dodged, ducked, dived, and dodged COVID, and then finally got it. So here I am.
Here you are.
Here I am. And it hasn't been too horrible. I know you had it like October of 2020.
Yeah, right? 2020, yeah.
Yeah, like you had the OG.
Had the OG strain of COVID.
Yeah, and it wasn't very fun for you. You lost your taste. It was pretty rough, eh?
It was an interesting it was one of those things where like I felt every symptom over the course of the 14 days. Like there was
2 weeks. Holy.
Yeah, there was like a couple days. It's kind of like a roller coaster, like peaks and valleys. Like there'd be a couple days I'd feel shitty, and then a couple days I'd feel fine, and then but everything kind of differed. But I never at one point felt like I needed to go to the hospital, but definitely wasn't a fun time.
No.
The worst was like the last few days, but I think a part of that too is sitting around for 2 weeks straight, like doing nothing.
Yes.
It's tough. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get your lungs back when you did shit again?
Well, you know what?
I played hockey for like so long. We only just started playing hockey consistently.
Yeah. And I never really affected my lungs that much.
Okay. That's good then.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not in my, I feel like it's not quite in my lungs. Right now it's really in my sinuses. Although I was like, I did a bunch of stuff all day today. And then I got like worse in the afternoon, and then tried to like have a shower and have some hot water, like try and clear it up, but didn't pan out.
Work.
But anyways, I feel pretty good considering, and
glad I
got the old Moderna. Hopefully that's been helping. I feel like it probably has. Did not get the booster yet, but whatever. We're getting through it. Getting some natural immunity. Time for summer. Hey, right there you go. Get it over with. Then we can get back to work.
Get it when it's slow. It's the way to do it.
Yeah, I couldn't have really picked a better time. The only thing I missed was some hockey games this week, but otherwise, not a big deal. But
things are coming back. Things are coming back too slowly.
Yes.
We're slowly being able to do things again, which is great. Had a beer at the Saddle Dome last week.
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
Great. It's very nice. I like watching hockey, but having a dome foam in hand makes it that much better.
That much more sweet, isn't it?
That much more sweet it is. So, and soon we'll be able to dance again.
Like at the bar?
Yeah, you're allowed to. Soon we'll be allowed to get up from our table and dance.
You can mingle.
Make some mingling.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good for old Wace. Get the girls on the
dance floor. Man, you know what? It's been a very hard time to be a single person in the last 2 years. I'm not complaining by any means, but just like for everybody, like
not making any excuses or anything, but
it's 100. Well, it's like for the past 2 years, you've probably been able to like get up from your table or go to the bar with more than a handful of people, and there hasn't really been any events to go out and meet people. Like it's definitely a different world in the dating game. That's for sure.
You've really had to improve your non-verbal communication.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks too. Like I don't know,
I know what you mean. I hate it even dealing with you sometimes. We get mad at each other because we don't talk on the phone or in person. It's funny how it works.
That's just the way she goes. If we always agreed, if we always saw eye to eye, we wouldn't be at this point, I think.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
We can't be having group think.
I know what you mean. So we recorded the show earlier today and then had a little interlude, and then you were actually it's Friday. Today's Friday, yeah.
Friday.
And you had the day off, and you were watching some Star Wars. So we're having a little conversation during COVID. During COVID, Storm and I watched the whole thing. I'd never really watched them all. Like I'd seen parts of them here and there, and like never really dabbled. It's kind of like the Harry Potter stuff, actually. So Harry Potter, I hadn't really watched them all the way through, but we just did that this year. So over the last like 2 winters, we've watched some major movies. But you're gonna watch it again. You're kind of a guy that watches stuff. You watch stuff again to prepare for something new to come out. But
I usually watch I fucking love Star Wars. It's a well-known fact amongst my friends.
Done.
I literally have a Mandalorian poster in my bedroom. Like I'm a huge Star Wars guy. But yeah, there's a new series coming out in March 25th, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and he's like my favorite character from the show. So yeah, and I usually watch Star Wars like the whole way through, like once a year, just because it's one of my favorite things to watch. So, but yeah, it's kind of like, it's funny because there's a couple of different arguments on how you should watch it, whether you should start with the original movies from the 80s and then kind of work your way to the new ones, or you watch them chronologically.
70s. Harrison Ford says like late 70s, isn't it?
Well, the first one was 77, and then everything else is 80. But so a fun fact about the Kenobi series that comes out on the 45th anniversary of the first Star Wars.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So I'm pretty stoked for it. But anyways, so for me, I like watching it chronologically just because I like seeing that story unfold. But the argument for watching it like the old ones first and the new ones is because you kind of get like Darth Vader gets built up to be this like super villain, like scary guy, like whatever. And then you kind of get to see how he became Darth Vader in the prequels, which is pretty cool. All that kind
really
of stuff.
Blew my mind because I never really knew that part of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool
because he's Anakin, right?
Yeah, he's Anakin. He's Anakin, exactly. And like he's like the prequels get a lot of flack because like the OG Star Wars fans don't like the CGI and all that kind of stuff and whatever. But I love how they did it. Like his character arc through the original series or through the prequel series is great. Like seeing how and why he becomes Darth Vader is so cool. And I'm a big fan of it.
Well, didn't they?
And Ewan McGregor.
Weren't the original ones like? Did they bring him back like 30 years later? What was the story there? It was early 2000s. So how did it all come to be? Was it like they made the first 3 movies, but they were 4, 5, and 6? But were they actually 4, 5, and 6 at the time?
Yeah, they're 4, 5. They're because that was always the George Lucas's plan was to do the first ones, like the 4, 5, and 6, and then do 1, 2, and 3 later on because he expected technology to get better as part of it. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. And then 7 was really cool too. To have the very, very last one.
Yeah, the new ones are cool. Like
those 7, 8, 9, isn't there 3 new ones?
7, 8. Yeah, 3 new ones. There's 3 trilogies, so yeah, it's pretty cool. See how it all unfolds. And then you throw in like stuff like the Solo movie. Have you seen Rogue One?
I don't know. I have to go back.
Man, that's like one of the best like Star Wars projects that have been done. It's so cool.
Do they fit in the story?
Yeah, it's all like you can just search Star Wars chronological order. It has all the movies and stuff there. But there's like Rogue One, and there's like a cartoon series called The Clone Wars, which is really cool. You get to learn more about like Anakin and Obi-Wan. And then there's like The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Like Mandalorian is sweet, dude. I cried at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian. It was wild, dude. Oh man, it was cool. But
I guess I might have to look into that someday.
I've like read the books. Like I read like the prequel books. Like there's episode 1, 2, and 3. They have the books for them. I read those when I was a kid. I love Star Wars, dude. It's cool stuff. So I'm getting prepared for the Kenobi series. That's gonna be a banger because Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen are back. So like Obi-Wan's original actor and Anakin Skywalker, like and Darth Vader, he's back for the series. So
like from the like original 70s or from
from the new ones, like the new ones, like the prequels. Yeah, the prequel ones. Yeah.
But is Harrison Ford in it?
No, he's dead.
Harrison Ford didn't die. Oh, but he died in the movies.
Yeah.
His
character's dead, but he wouldn't be involved.
He didn't die.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi series happens 10 years after episode 3.
Okay.
So it's between 3 and 4, but 10 years after Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
Okay.
It's the time frame for that. So
yeah, I don't know enough to really know what's going on, but cool. Right on.
Yeah, anyways, okay. Star Wars stuff. Yeah.
So what else is going on? So yeah, Hannah, we lost the A final. What else?
Oh yeah, Hannah recap. That was still a fun weekend.
Yeah, we had a good crew.
Good to be back.
Rolo, great goaltender. Would recommend.
Great goalie.
But I think he signed a 19-year contract.
He just took over my contract.
Yes.
Because 6 years ago or 7 years ago, I signed a 25-year deal, and now I've handed that off to him. So I'm more than happy to do that. So
that's true.
It was a heck of a weekend.
It was a lot of fun. I don't know if I got the COVID there or somewhere else, but
I mean, what do you if I got it for COVID too?
Even if I got it in Hannah, it's worth it.
We're on the Big Valley Wranglers are on COVID protocol until next season.
Until next year, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Katie, there's one question. There's a couple questions I want to ask you.
Oh yeah,
for the top part. Okay, what was the number 1 song the year you were born? Did you find it?
1990. Actually, just looking it up right now. I should have done this earlier. Number one song, Canada, USA, what?
I just like the Billboard has like top 100. It was a number one song.
Better not do Canada. Number one song. I better do USA because I don't know what that one.
It should just be a Billboard top 100 when you search it. I would just Googled number one song 1992.
Billboard year end hot singles of 1990.
There you go.
Looks like something from Phil Collins, but I don't know the song. I can't really tell here.
Mine's
on the charts in 1990.
Yeah,
there's like I'm seeing like 3 or 4 different versions here. Ice Ice Baby is number 4. Maybe I should do like number 1 country song.
Hold On by Wilson Phillips is your number 1 song in 1990.
According to who?
Billboard.
Okay.
There you go. Mine's Black or White by Michael Jackson.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. The number 1 country song on my birthday is She Got the Rhythm and I Got the Blues by Alan Jackson. Banger. What's yours?
Number 1 country. Number
yours May 8th, right?
Yeah, number 1 song.
I got you right here.
May 8th. What do you got?
Number 1 country song. Help Me Hold On by Travis Tritt.
That's country. What do you got for the whole
Sneed O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You.
Don't know that one.
Neither do I. I think if I heard it, I know what it is. But that's pretty
cool.
Maybe
those would be some good ones for Sean to put in the show this
week.
I
had the whole section in my office on Thursday before I left. Like, I distracted everybody. There's like 12 people trying to find out what their favorite or what their top song was in their birth year. But
that's awesome.
Well, we can pose the question to the people. What was 1992 is actually a banger for music.
You had a couple good ones there.
Yeah, 1992 is sweet. So Black or White.
I wonder what Sean's birthday is.
Black or White, Michael Jackson was on there. I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt was number 4 by Right Said Fred. To Be With You by Mr. Big's a banger. Jump by Crisscross is on there. Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Oh, dang.
Do we know I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. I don't know Sean's birthday.
I'm trying to think of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a year too older than us. Let's try 89. 1989. Oh, wait. Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Oh, nice. That's a banger.
That's decent.
That's really good. Yeah, 1989, that'd have been a good year because that's like you still get some of the 80s, catch the end part of the good 80s music. Yeah. So it's good shit.
That's not bad. And then let's just double check if it's 88. I think he's 89, but I forget. Eddie is I think Eddie's 88. An 88 model, isn't he? Man in the Mirror. That's decent. Michael Jackson. Oh, that's decent. Man, they got good ones.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Song of the year.
That's cool. That's sweet.
Don't Worry, Be Happy. That's a good one too.
Nice.
Because it was named Record of the Year.
Let's go.
Top of the charts in 88. Faith by George Michael. I Need You Tonight in XS. Oh wow. Never Gonna Give You Up, Rick Astley. Oh, Sweet Guns N' Roses. Oh wow. I'm gonna look at this.
Is cool.
1990 top songs. Maybe that's the best way to do it. Unskinny Bop by Poison. Not bad. Ice Ice Baby. I think we talked about that already. What else we got? Not as great of a year.
1990, hey?
1990.
Vogue, Madonna. Yeah. Hold On, Wilson Phillips is a sweet song.
Huh.
Blaze of Glory by John Bon Jovi.
Ooh, that is pretty cool. I like that one.
Yeah. Ice Ice Baby's on there. Love Takes Time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1990 is an average year for the tunes.
Yeah, not as good. Not as good on the tunes. Thunderstruck AC/DC.
That's a good one.
That's neat. 1990.
So one other thing I wanted to get to.
Made is
we're still okay. No, I think it was made like late. Oh, really?
It was released in 1990.
Dang.
No shit. Well, that's cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
Okay, sorry. What else you got before on the top?
One more on the top end. So it's in recognition of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. I have this question. If you were to be doing the 2-person luge event, would you rather be on the top or the bottom?
Okay, and this is it's kind of like it's not
feet
bobsled.
Feet first.
Feet first, yeah. I think I would want to be the bottom guy.
It's been
weird.
It's been the consensus in the polling I've done in the past few days on this question.
Who else did you ask?
Like pretty much everybody at my office and a couple other people.
Distraction. Wacey with the distractions.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we better get to the show here. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Once again, this is Cowboy Shit with 10 Wacey. Check us out on the social medias and check out our website, cowboyshit.ca. We'll be back with the interview this week after this. Well, it's been a long time coming, but we finally got him. We finally got him tracked down. He's
title of your sex tape.
He's a professional rodeo announcer, the creator of Barney's Adventure Park and Drumheller. He is, I want to say, formerly the general manager of the Drumheller Dragons. He met his future wife on this very podcast. He's a former firefighter. He's one of the greatest all-around hands of all time. Former
saddle bronc rider, team roper, all of the above. You name it, he's done it.
He's done it. He's our good friend, Mr. Dustin Edwards. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here today.
It's funny that we are just getting to this now, 111 episodes deep. But you've been you've had regular appearances on the show, so I mean, people know who you are and like you. Whatever, but we've never actually taken the time to like dive into the Dustin Edwards story.
Yeah, I've got to be the part of 2 Bachelor episodes, and then I believe I was on that Gator episode, Kidnapped in Istanbul. So I've been a part of some of the Cowboy Shit's biggest episodes.
Pivotal moments, yeah. Well, even speaking of the Bachelor though, like you're coming, like it's going to be like 2 or 3 years now since, or even longer since you and Allie have met on the Bachelor episode 1.
Yeah, it
was number 1, wasn't it?
It was number 1, yeah.
2018 or it was 2018, wasn't it?
2018, yeah. So 4 years, 5 years.
We're just celebrating 3 years.
There you go. So I think that's where we should start, though. We should dive right into that. So, because clearly The Bachelor didn't work for me, but somehow it works for you, one of the hosts. I think that this would have been 2 or 3 weeks after we had our hockey tournament in Vermeer, which you and I talk about quite often, our sad boy hours there. We poisoned ourselves on Long Island iced tea and Pink Whitney for like 3 days straight. And then everybody comes back with a case of the gut rot. And then that's kind of where you and Allie connected a little bit. Yeah, take it from there.
Yeah, we kind of stayed in touch. And I think the theme of the Bachelor podcast that year was that I hijacked you and just totally sewered you. And we stayed in touch. And she always talked about how that weekend when I was playing hockey with you guys, so I was trying to text her coherently and be a gentleman, and then
and I sewered you.
Snapchats from Wacey. I was just totally blitzed.
That's one of the best snaps I've ever taken in my life. That one of you singing "Shaggy" with the misheard lyrics. That's still to this day one of my favorite videos ever. That's so funny.
Yeah,
but kudos to you for keeping your composure via text message and making sure that she didn't know. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was trying to buffalo her, but it didn't work. Just a week or 2 later, we shared our first date in Calgary, and then wrapped up the evening out at Ted's house there, and the rest is history, you could say. So yeah,
go ahead.
I owe it all to you guys. I owe my entire love life and everything. I wouldn't be here without Cowboy Shit.
Well, and at least somebody found love in the Bachelor episodes, because like Ted and I have talked about it a bunch of times too, where if at this point, if I were to do a 3rd episode, that's kind of a red flag for the women taking part in it. It's like, what's wrong with this dude? So I'm glad at least one person, and you guys just bought a house together. So like things are happening. Like that's an Bachelor update for the people. Dustin and Allie, the hijacker of the podcast episode, they bought a house together in Drumheller. So there you go.
I think she still got the first impression cactus somewhere in the woods.
All right, I forgot that she got that. She's the reason we got foiped on the first episode of The Bachelor.
That's right. She was naming names that shouldn't have been named.
That's so funny.
If I wanted to ask, what the hell was I going to say now? No, I just got mixed up. Sorry, bro. He's got the COVID brain this week.
Yeah, Teddy's got the vid post Hannah hockey tournament.
And I shared a water bottle with you and sat beside you. I think we hugged. I'm so glad I dodged the vid.
Yeah, you dodged it. And I dodged it a lot of times, but finally got
we only have 2 confirmed cases from the Big Valley Wranglers, which is good. Good luck for us.
Teams in quarantine until Isolating
COVID protocol
until next year.
COVID protocol for the boys.
Oh,
no more Cree suits till 2023.
Holy. Well,
that's so funny.
I wanted to get at the more of the Bachelor's deal though with their Dustin and kind of talk about that a bit but meeting Allie there. Had you guys, that was what it was. Had you guys met before? You guys have probably kind of been in each other's circles, but just never met. It was kind of one of those things where honestly, for that first one, I just talked to friends that I knew, like Louisa, Cassie, and Allie. I knew they were all single, so I just called them because they were friends of mine that I was like, hey, let's do this thing and try and,
it's good content. It's good content. I was
like, this would be hilarious to do this, and it was just a big joke.
And everybody knows I'll do anything.
Yeah, everybody knows Wacey will do anything. And then there was one that was kind of a sham, wasn't it? Like, wasn't the Abby that, weren't you guys actually kind of dating?
We're talking. Like there was like she was the one I was going to pick in the end. Like that was at that point that was just what was going to happen. And then that obviously turned out great for me. So perfect.
But anyways, but you guys hadn't met before, so it was kind of one of those funny things where. Well,
they were talking in Invermere before, the weekend before.
No, that was after.
No. Invermere was after.
Bachelor is February. Invermere is March, man. Look at your calendar.
Oh, right. I keep thinking that March is before February. Anyways.
Yeah. So, no, Ted, to answer your question, we had never met. I remember hearing of her name. Or I'd seen her pop up on people you may know on Facebook and stuff like that. But I had never met her. And truthfully, I hadn't even remembered even seeing her before the day I was in your house. But Cass Haas sent me a Snapchat memory from that day, and there's a picture of me and Allie sitting up on your chair. And I remember we had a really good visit. And the next day, I added her on Instagram. I think we became friends on Facebook, and I went pretty hard. But it kind of didn't really go anywhere for the first 6 weeks. So I just had to stay persistent,
We were still running a little wild for those few weeks too.
Well, yeah. I think we should get into that a little bit though, Dustin, because really, honestly, it's been a big change for you since then. Because you and I, you and Wacey got really, what'd you say? Lemony Snicket's and Jimmy Gibble. You guys were really,
yeah. We had a time in BC,
yeah. But
that was our alter egos for the weekend.
Yeah, but Dustin and I stayed home from the bar on Saturday, and I've getting a little serious, but I've had trouble with anxiety for a few years, and being around groups like that, I enjoy doing parts of it, but I don't really love going out to the bar and just getting real messed up. I don't know, if I wanted to, I could easily be an alcoholic and do that every weekend between the different things that we get to do, or between seeing clients or going to events or doing the fun hockey stuff and weddings or whatever it might be. We could do that every night of the week if we wanted, but Dustin, you and I on the Saturday in Invermere, you were talking with Allie, and we, you had troubles with your guts from the first couple of days,
gut rot.
Yeah, that weekend actually was a pretty big change in your life. Honestly, that was kind of one of the starting points to where you are now. And were you already with drum at that point? You already were with drum at that point, so you had changed. But before that, in the last 4 or 5 years for you, you've went from being a operator in the oil field, making 6 figures. You took a huge step back, took a big chance to go and pursue a dream and work in hockey, and it's doing that and then getting tapering off the booze for the most part, getting off the alcohol. It's been a pretty major change than being with Allie. You've done a lot of stuff the last few years. Yeah,
and I remember that night in Vermeer, Ted, we sat in the hot tub, I think, and we got off the booze, and I think we had a tea, as weird as that sounds, or something like.
2 dudes in a hot tub having a tea together.
Yeah, and yeah, I kind of was just trying to get myself in a good direction, and I'd lie if I say I'm completely off the booze. Me and Allie enjoy a glass of wine from time to time, but yeah, I've tried to remove it from my life, and for me, that a guy that's in social settings all the time, it wasn't easy at the start, but half the times, I'll still be out at the bar drinking a soda and lime juice, and people ask if I'm okay to drive home at 2 a.m. because they think I'm still getting at her just because I'm that kind of guy. But yeah, it was kind of big changes over the last 3 years, and I'm glad I did it. I've kind of put myself in a good place in my life, with my mental health and just the kind of the state I was in. So yeah, it was kind of funny, all that, within about 7 weeks of of the Bachelor podcast, my life changed a lot, which is pretty crazy.
I remember having the conversation with you on the C train from Ted's house to a Flames game. Like, I think the three of us were together. I mean, maybe Gator was with us too. We were going to a Flames game and you were telling us about the opportunity with the Dragons and how you were like unsure of what to do. Cause as Teddy mentioned, you took a pay cut, obviously. And it's kind of somewhere a dream that you always wanted to pursue, but that you were with kind of an uncertain future. So it's cool to see you at this point now being so successful after like taking that leap of faith. Like, not many people have the guts to do that, for lack of a better term, I guess.
Yeah. And like, I guess going back to that, like, I had just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with the company I worked for. I was an operator. I started my day 5 minutes from my farm where I lived east of Big Valley. As Ted said, six-figure salary that I started to make when I was in my 20s, which, kind of had everything I needed, but I just wasn't really finding any happiness in that. And most people thought I was crazy. I think I took I want to say like about a $65,000 a year cut off my salary to go to the Dragons, the AJHL. And I just figured if I didn't do it then, I was just turning 30, I would never do it. And, it's kind of one of those things where you look back now and it's probably the best decision I ever made. But at the time, most people around me thought I was completely nuts. But,
except for me. I told you to do it.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without like my friend group. I was, like between Ted and I know yourself, Wacey, like having conversations with the people like you guys, because you guys are the kind of guys that don't settle either. You're always chasing and trying to be the best version of yourself. And that's the people you need to have those conversations with, because I was having those conversations with people that weren't like that. And that really gets on a guy's mind and makes it tough. So
it's easy to get drugged down to people's levels. When you share those thoughts with people who can't see outside of their own little world, or kind of think outside the boxes. It can be a drag mentally, or like drag you down and kind of make you question everything. So it's nice to have people. Like, I'm thankful for our friend group as well, because we can bounce these ideas off each other and it's supportive, and we can kind of build each other up rather than tear each other down when we have these wild and crazy ideas.
Yeah, and I got so lucky. I was in New York at the PBR, Madison Square Garden with Gator. We were there hanging with the production guys for a weekend. And I remember flying home. I was just like so depressed. It was a cold winter, checking wells, and I just was not happy with life. And I got home, and the next day I got hit with a sponsored ad on Facebook from the Drumheller Dragons, and it was the job posting. And it said, "Are you passionate about sports? Are you community minded?" The whole thing. And I thought, holy hell, like this is like answering my prayers. And yeah, and then three months later, I turned in my coveralls for my dress clothes. So it was good.
Well, and so that ended up starting. Well, I gotta say one more thing too. I want to say that you had a big conversation, or numerous conversations, with our podcast editor and good friend Sean Morton too. I think we got to mention Sean because he was a big influence in you taking that jump as well, if I remember right. Yeah,
well, and as we know, Sean's probably one of the smartest guys that we know, and
100%.
Level-headed guys, and a driven, determined guy. So yeah, leaned on him as well. But yeah, just kind of everybody was in my court the whole way through. So it was awesome. I wouldn't be here without my support group for sure.
What did Gator say?
Gator was me and Gator when we were like 13, we used to ride the bus with like the local senior team, and like we used to do their broadcasts. Like we dreamed of like hockey and stuff. So like Gator was probably surprised we hadn't done it yet, if anything, but Gator was all in. Gator just went over 3 Dragon golf shirt.
So go along from there. I think that's a good path, because we can go back later. I want to talk on some announcing and some broadcast school and a bit of the operating stuff. We can go back there, but let's go from here and go on the drum side, the hockey path, looking at other places. Maybe two might have been part of it. Like you looked at the steps up if you're going to go to the NHL side of things, but then this other fucking thing comes along. It was going to be a kangaroo farm at one point, and then next thing we know, it's Barney. So take us through that journey from the Dragons to Barney's.
Yeah, so I started with the Dragons in 18 was my first season, 18-19, And I was all in. Like, I was like, this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to get my feet wet here. So for those who don't know what I did, I kind of looked after all the operations of the team, essentially, business, marketing, just everything. A lot of teams in this league have 3 or 4 staff, but we have 1 in that role. So I got to do everything, social media, you name it. And after the first season, I really just found my groove, I thought, and was really enjoying it and had some really good success. And then in 2019, 2020, my second year, I just found another gear. I was in a good place, and I was putting all my effort into hockey, and we had a really good season that year. We had full rinks. Like, it was awesome. And so it was then that I actually was, I was toying with the idea of like, what's next? So I actually, I had a couple of really good job offers in that mix. I interviewed for a couple of jobs that I didn't get that were really badass, like Vegas and Hockey Canada and a couple of things like that. So I was just thinking, like, here we go. Like, this thing's going to just take off. And then it was a trip to Kelowna to the kangaroo farm. and COVID, I should say, too, that kind of changed things. But so 2 full seasons of just going all in and really enjoying it and thinking, my next step was going to be the NHL was my goal, obviously.
So then the kangaroo farm, though, and I think you got to talk about the crew you're partners with, if take it where you wish, but talk about that and creating Barney's.
Yeah, so the owners of our team here in Drum are the Christensen family. People probably know them as Canalta. They own a ton of hotels in Western Canada. Boston Pizzas, I think they got like 40-some A&Ws, like just very entrepreneurial people, but they live right here in town, really hands-on with the team. We become great friends. And we were actually we were flying to Vancouver, me and Blair. Blair is one of the sons. And we were flying to Vancouver for a golf tournament. It was actually Jim Treliving's golf tournament. And we were just chatting about ideas for Drumheller that, he thought was cool. And he said, have you ever been to the kangaroo farm in Kelowna? I said, no. He said, oh, we got to go. We got to go. So that summer, me and Allie flew out there to their place at Kelowna, and we went and toured the kangaroo farm. And when I left there, I'm like, we got to get some kangaroos. Like, these things are. And there was an old lady like at a little kiosk it was cash only. She had like a big bucket. This thing was full of cash. Like, it was insane how much money they were making. And I just had dollar signs in my eyes after that. I remember sitting, actually, I think it was like 2 weeks later, sitting at your place, Ted, in your living room or your kitchen with you and Storm, saying that we're going to get this kangaroo farm going. And everyone, we were all kind of laughing and joking about it.
But I knew you were serious.
Yeah. So the kangaroo farm, then COVID hits, right? So COVID kind of derails everything, but we were kind of talking about the kangaroo farm. And so then after searching how much kangaroos are, and they're actually wallabies, they're not even kangaroos.
Phonies.
We started toying with the idea of like just some sort of park, like something for families to do. And then my Blair's dad, Cam, who created Canalta, lives down in Phoenix, and he'd found this place just outside of Phoenix, about 2 hours, called Mortimer's Family Farm on the way to Prescott. So we flew down and went and checked it out. And as soon as we were there, like, the whole concept of zip lines and go-karts and whatever was just like, yeah, this is what we got to do. And so that was the plan. And then COVID kind of lingered on, and we just kind of put everything on halt. Then came the dinosaur auction. And then shit got serious from there.
So you guys buy a bunch of animatronic dinosaurs, and these things cost what? Like, I want to say it was a huge cost. But the other thing of the deal, and go into it as you wish too, but you're part owner and you own it over a few years, kind of thing, or like you help build this thing and you get ownership back on kind of like sweat equity and building in, because at this point you're working for, you don't have the cash to go and buy in and buy a bunch of this stuff, but you got to go and build this whole thing, and you're the guy on the ground making it happen. So you buy the dinosaurs and you create the concept, and tell us from there. You open up what was it, May, or it was July 1st of 2021, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So we go on this online auction from Vancouver. We were going to buy, I think, 3 or 4 dinosaurs, and we bought 16.
Is that all of them, or was there more?
There was more, but we got the biggest ones that were there. And they showed up 3 weeks later in 4 sea cans sitting out in this empty hayfield. There was nothing there. It was a hayfield. And this is where we were going to build this park.
And it's on the way, like it's just past the Royal Tyrrell Museum, for those that might not know yet.
Yeah, just past the museum, past the golf course, just on North Dinosaur Trail. So we've got a hayfield, we've got a dirt trail off the highway, and we got 4 sea cans full of $250,000 worth of fucking dinosaurs. These things are like the ones that roar and move, and they're tall and life size, right? Yeah. So then those dinosaurs arrive in the fall. We don't do anything over the course of the winter, but as the winter's dragging on, the world's starting to open up. This is last year. And in March, the snow's pretty much melted in Drum, and we say, let's go to town, let's go building. We had no power, no roads, nothing. We had nothing. And we went to work, and we got this place built, ready in time to open July 1st. And yeah, there was a really good crew that worked hard. We did everything from scratch and got this place ready to open up. And never in my wildest dreams would I thought in 4 months would we have gotten this thing ready to go. But I mean, like you say, they believed in the project. It was well over $1 million to get this thing ready to open. There's a lot of money, and as you alluded to, I was super fortunate to be offered partnership on it with, I guess, a sweat equity deal, which I don't mind talking about because I'm super grateful for that. Not a lot of people get that opportunity, and I think when you're wanting to be an entrepreneur, wanting to own something, it's hard to get access to that kind of money, especially for me. I don't have any resources to get that kind of money. And so I was super lucky that, they said, we'll make you part of this, make it a reality and make it happen. And they believed in me, and away we went. And Barney's was born, man.
And so you're 1 year in, going into next year, 2022, adding more features, like attendance, I guess you guys would have had. If you want to talk about that a little bit on how many people came to the park, if you want, or, I think it was a pretty, I think the expectations were exceeded based on our conversations on the first year.
Yeah, we had no idea if people were even going to show up, and it was a total shit show, man. The first day we opened up, July 1st, it was plus 41 that day down here. We had that heat wave, and I'm like thinking that this line of people is going to be rolling in, and I think by noon we had 50 people came. And then at 1 o'clock, plus 41, the power line down the road snaps, and we fucking lose power to the whole place. Toast.
Oh no.
So we've got ice cream trucks or deep freezes, everything's melting. I'm running around with generators trying to plug shit in. Oh, no. And then I sat out in the road on the quad and just had to tell people they couldn't come in. Sorry. This is day one.
Opening day.
Oh no. Some adversity right from the start.
2.5 hours, no power, no customers, sunburnt, and
thirsty.
Very sad. Thirsty, sad. It was that night after the first day, I was like, man, we need to have a garage sale. We need to sell these dinosaurs. This is
It's over. It's over, boys.
It's over, man. I was so just down after that day. It was brutal.
The cool thing, from an outside perspective, though, for Barney is it's kind of a place that was missing from Drumheller. For those who don't know Drum, it's one of the busiest tourist places in Alberta and probably in the country, in Western Canada for sure. And there really hasn't been a adventure park style, kind of funny farm, if you want to call it, place. It was really kind of brilliant of you guys to come up with this idea and bring it to the valley, because you're right beside the museum, which is really cool too. So I mean, it's not a surprise that it's growing to what it is now.
Yeah, I think that's why it was a no-brainer for us to do it. It's just there was such a need for it. Drum was getting so many people. You go to the museum for a couple hours, you go see the big dinosaur, and then what do you do? And and for the Christensen family, they own 3 hotels here. They want people to overnight it and, you know, drag out their stay, overnighters more than day trippers. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. And I mean, the first 3 weeks were hell, but we caught steam kind of August long weekend, and that carried on till we closed. And for us, it was just a telltale sign that this thing's probably going to be what Drum needed, and hopefully a home run down the road.
So what's a good day now? Is a good day like 500 or 1,000 or 2,000? Like, I have no idea how many you'd have through the gates on a good day.
Last summer for us, a good day, you know, be getting 1,000 people through, you know. But I think going forward, I think, you know, we'd like to see that be like 1,500, 2,000 a day. The Drum Heller's got the numbers. You know, we just got to get the people that are already here. It's not so much getting them to Barney's from outside, but the museum, you know, does 600,000 people a year. So if you can get 10% of those, you're making some money. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, and not only did you put like all the grunt work into the place, you've done like a lot of the business stuff, right? Like you even took like a digital marketing course to the UFC to help sharpen those tools. Like talk a bit about that side of it, because you're basically doing like everything from building the fence, pounding the post, setting up the dinosaurs, to posting on social media to help grow the brand name that way. Like there's a lot of work there.
Yeah, I kind of went all in, and I'm glad I did, because I wanted to understand every aspect of it. You know, if I go out there, I can tell every single person where every underground water line is buried and where this goes and where this goes. And I just wanted to know how everything works. So I was all in on the project, from building it to the marketing side. And I wanted to sharpen my skills and just improve myself to be better for the business. So yeah, I took a couple programs like that. And yeah, I get to be all in on it. And that excites me because, I guess, as you get success, you can feel part of that. Of course, we have a big team of people, but it's just been cool to be in every aspect of the whole process from the ground floor up.
So you and Allie lived there this last summer, and if you want to talk about it too, Allie had a change in course as well. We should probably mention that while we're at it.
Yeah, she was nursing, and we were living in Big Valley still out at my farm there, driving into Drum every day, and we were talking about entrepreneur stuff and business stuff, and kind of stumbled across a building in Drum Heller and an idea. And she started a clothing store called Pearl and Heart, which is clothing store, like women's boutique. She rents out a space to Kaylee Goodine, who's a barrel racer, who has a hair salon in there. She's licensed. You can drink wine and coffee bars and food. And she's got a rank patio with fire tables. So we both said, well, instead of one person just being super busy, we might as well both be busy. And we sold the farm, lived in a camper out at Barney's all summer. And I opened July 1st and she opened July 20th. And we touched toes at night randomly the odd time for about 3 months. And that was the only real interaction we had. We were so exhausted.
That's turned into such a cool space. Like you said, there's shopping. You can have a bite to eat there. She's hosting some events there. It's kind of adds, like, it fits in well with what you guys are doing with the Barney stuff, right? It just kind of adds another element to the town, like to the community, really.
Oh yeah, totally. And she's had JD Bixby singing in there and Winterfest, and she just bought an ice cream trailer that she's going to park out front this summer.
Nice.
So you see an old converted horse trailer scooping ice cream. That'll be her.
Nice.
That's awesome. So I think we got to go. Wait, what do you think now? Should we go back onto some firefighting days, or where do you want to take this next?
We can go anywhere, man.
Okay, you lead us off.
Okay. I don't know much about your firefighting days. So you had been volunteer with the Big Valley crew. I don't know as much of this side of the story as maybe Ted does.
Yeah, so I joined the fire department in Big Valley in 2007, right when I moved back from college. Just same thing, young guy living in town. They asked me to join. Then I was on for about a year there. Then I moved to Stettler. I lived in town for 4 years, and they have a really big fire department there that I joined, and that's where I got all my training and learned everything. But I just retired a month ago, but I was on the department in Big Valley for since 2007. So it was like 12 years or 13 years, I guess. But Yeah, it was a pretty fun. Like I know everyone says like, volunteer firefighting, but we have some like really busy highways, intersections and rural population. So we were busy. Like in Stettler, we would do between 200 and 300 calls a year.
Well, on the rural side of things, you're probably getting called to grass fires and stuff all the time. Like that's even like where I grew up, like the little volunteer guys were always busy. You're always on standby if there was something. And shit catches on fire all the time when you're working in like agriculture and ranching.
Oh yeah, but between oil field and agriculture, shit is always on fire. And then on the other side of it, like, you get back roads and busy intersections and busy areas. So like car accidents just left and right, late night rollovers, guys back roading home from the bars. Not that it's a good thing or a funny thing, but I mean, that was very common.
Yeah. What's what's the wildest fire call you've been called to in your volunteer firefighter days?
Oh, we seen some shit.
I bet.
Like you had a lot of like in the recent years, like you have the meth heads that were crashing vehicles and torching them on fire, and then you're bringing up police dogs and tracking through fields and stuff. But like on a serious note, like we obviously part of like some very big accidents that were never ended good, but I was on numerous times where we landed, 2 Stars helicopters at once.
Wow.
Yeah, we had car accidents where there was one time we were at a car accident between 2 vehicles. There was 13 people in between both vehicles that were all injured at one time.
Oh my God.
You're a little fire department looking after them and stuff. And probably one of the funniest ones that I was ever on was a family was going to a family supper, and I think they were Korean, and they had their whole back of their vehicle full of food for the potluck, and they rolled their vehicle by Big Valley, and they were all covered in like noodles. luckily they weren't hurt, but I just remember going in there and they were all covered in like noodles, and it smelled very good.
But the food was ruined.
Oh, no. Yeah, the food is ruined. They were all good, but there was noodles everywhere. But,
dang, that sucks for the potluck.
Potluck is
ruined. That's funny.
Okay, and so going on to that side of things, though, like talk about seeing some shit. I remember there's some stories you told me different times. Like you probably can't say some of the stuff because you're not supposed to share those things. But like, is that the reason why you have like fucking nightmares and you have the night terrors and shit? Like how's your mind that way now after getting off the booze a bit more? Like, has that helped, or do you still have trouble? And further along to that part, there's not really any support systems on the volunteer side of the fire department. Like the mental health thing is really a miss on the volunteer side of things. And I want to say probably everywhere. I don't know for sure, but
yeah, I agree with that. And in rural, we're very like, oh, we're fine kind of mentality, and those systems are kind of there, but not really. So, I remember one of the first fatal scenes I was on, we found a guy that was burnt in a house, and actually Darren Benson, who you guys know from Stettler Dodge, I think we were together working on a fire call, and we found a guy that had perished in a fire. And the next, we were on that call all day and night watching the scene, and then 7 a.m, you throw your coveralls on and have a coffee and go to your job. And then you're with yourself all day, just replaying that in your head. And a week later was my second fatal accident, and it was a 7-year-old girl that had got killed in a side-by-side rollover. Same thing, you go to the fire hall and everyone says, "You good?" Yeah, we're good. And you carry on, and you never really cope with it, I guess. So, as you go down, those all start adding up, and I think it definitely is tough on a guy. And the small fire departments usually know the people that you're seeing and helping. In the big city, it's just another person, but in the small towns, you know them or have a connection to them. So, yeah, I think that's one thing that definitely is lacking is that kind of not support from your peers, but like support from counselors or things like that. Because yeah, Ted, as you guys know, I had a bad night terror situation for the majority of my life. So I don't know what caused it, but I'm sure that didn't help.
And do you still have it, or has it receded a bit, or is it still happens, or what's it like?
Not as bad anymore. It's actually receded quite a bit. I only know that just obviously from Allie, but I'm not waking up in the night going nuts. I still have them from time to time, but they're definitely not, now that I'm not on the fire department and not going as many calls. I definitely don't have it as much anymore, for sure.
How much of an influence on your firefighting days was Dennis Hallstead? Like, was he? Did you really look up to him as a firefighter and as an apprentice firefighter? Like, is he a big mentor of yours? How does he fit in?
Do you know what? Funny story is in 2012, I actually applied to the City of Calgary Fire Department, and I went through the whole 9 months, aptitude tests, interviews, physicals, and I got a formal letter of acceptance. And I remember leaning on Denny, asking him questions and trying to help guide me a little bit throughout that. And I never ended up taking it, obviously, but that point in my life, like I was loving firefighting and I was living it. And yeah, I leaned on Denny a lot, and he told me lots of crazy shit that would never even hold a candle to the stories I had. But yeah, surprisingly enough, on that journey, he was awesome. We talked firefighting a lot throughout the years. So he was great.
Why firefighting? How'd you get into it? I don't know that part. I'm not sure if we ever talked about this.
Man, just a guy in Big Valley asked me if I was interested in joining, and me and Gator actually joined the same time, and we went to like 2 or 3 grass fires and put them out, and then I think we were curling one time or something, and me and Gator got called to because out in the rural, if there's a call for the ambulance, they always call the fire department first because the ambulance comes from Stellar. So we're there to bridge that 30-40 minute gap. So we're always there for medical calls. And this old lady in Big Valley had slipped in her bathroom, and she hit her head on the toilet, and there was blood everywhere. And we walked in, and Gator he turned around and he was out, and that was the end of him on the fire department.
Oh wow!
He didn't like the blood.
Jeez.
That's one thing though. I've always been impressed with like even you and even Gators. Like you guys are both really like community focused, like engaged with the community kind of guys. Like where does that stem from? Like I know you're a Saskatchewan boy like me, but like where does that passion for being involved and kind of engaging with your local community come from?
For me it was like not to get too deep, but like for me as a youngster, I got involved in community stuff like that most people would do when they're quite older. Like I joined like the golf board when I was like 13, and like volunteered with the rodeo when I was a kid, and like just did all these things. And it was kind of like, for me, like kind of more distraction, like again, not to get too deep, but like, my parents split up when I was 12 and kind of had a rough go for about 4 or 5 years with like family stuff. And for me, it was like, I'm just going to go and get involved in everything. Like I went and learned how to help at the curling rink, and man, I got trained how to drive the Zamboni, I think, before I could even drive my vehicle. Like, so we just, and me and Gator just got involved in everything. We were in curling, golf course, the rodeo committee, the Egg Society. Like, we just went all in on everything, helped out at the seniors drop in, and went to bingo. Like, it was just like a distraction just to stay busy, I think. It was, and Big Valley was awesome. Like, there wasn't a lot of people in that community, so they always welcomed the help, and yeah, we loved it. And yeah, for me, it was definitely more to keep busy and keep my mind elsewhere when I was a kid.
Well, and that's something now it's translated into what you do now. Like I think that's what's made you so successful, even with the Dragons and the Barney stuff, is that you have that passion for growing your community and being involved and being engaged, which I think has really helped you to this point. So it's cool that you have that foundation and started at a young age. Again, and that's like the biggest thing we noticed. Like we work with a lot of rodeo committees, the 3 of us, and them trying to find young people to get involved or whatever, right, is such a hard thing. And you know that firsthand.
Oh yeah, totally. I think that your youth is everything, and trying to get people to buy into that stuff. And like a lot of the stuff that keeps community going is very like old school. Like not a lot of young kids are like, hey, I want to go curling, or yeah, like give me a whippersnapper, I'll go weed whip grave sites like on remembrance, like just things like that are just like forgotten because the older generation always did that. But when they're gone, who fills their shoes, I guess, right? The cliche kind of thing. So we when we were young, we just had that mindset like, oh, we got to do this, or who's gonna.
Well, and you talk about the, or sorry, go ahead, Wacey.
No, you go ahead, Teddy. It's all good.
I want to say you talk about the rodeo committee, and I think this is where the rodeo side of things come in. But before that, so 2007, there was some radio, and then I guess in 2007 would have been when you went to SAIT. Is that right too? I
went to Saskatoon.
Syast.
Okay.
Yeah. And I went out there, graduated in 2006. So yeah, 2006, 2007. I took radio and television. And that was just all stemmed off. I had done some announcing previous to that. The first person that got me on a mic at a rodeo was actually Tyson Peach. So I owe Tyson everything. He got me going.
Okay, what was the first one? Tell us that story quick.
Well, Big Valley Rodeo, when I was a kid, I always did the Cowboys Prayer at the rodeo for Tom Cassidy and the Big Valley Rodeo crew. Tyson announced that rodeo for years, and I used to kind of linger around him. I'd bring him the wireless mic back and whatever. And he asked me if I wanted to announce the mutton busting. And Christ, like I was like 12 or 13. So I started announcing the mutton busting. And then they used to have, Ted, you probably rode at it. Maybe you did too. They used to have that.
The bull riding. Yeah, the bull riding the Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Colin Cassidy Memorial. Mm-hmm. And I got on the mic there when I was 15 or 16 because the old boy that did it couldn't come. So I announced that. And so I kind of got a little bit of a flavor for it then. And then after that, I didn't really do much. And I went to school for radio and television. I was actually trying to get into sports broadcasting after that. So.
Well, and so when did you and I meet? Did you and I meet at Barney's house, or did we meet at like a Delburn High School rodeo with the Joneses? Where? I'm trying to think of where you and I met. I want to think it was at Barney's, but I don't remember. Like after the Big Valley Rodeo in like 2007 maybe.
I think there was. When I came back from college that spring, Big Valley had the spring rodeo, and I think I met you at Barney's. Yeah, because was that the year that someone went down his stairs in a wheelchair? Do you remember that?
Probably. There was a lot of wild shit happened at Barney's in the late 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah, so it's 2008. 2008, Riley Jones asked me to announce the Delburn High School rodeo. That was the first paid announcing
in April. Job. So I might have been there, but I think you would have been there. I thought you would have been there in 2007 too. Maybe.
It was 2007. It was 2007.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have been there in 2008 because my shoulder was or my collarbone was broken. So 2007. Yeah. Okay. So that was the first one. Go ahead.
Yeah, me and Riley played hockey together.
Where at? Like Stettler?
Stettler, yeah. So me and Riley played hockey together.
In like Bantam and Midget then.
Yeah, that's right. And then I think he played 15s, and then we played together the year after. And then so that's how we kind of knew each other. We'd crossed paths. Steer riding like years before that. So when Riley came to Stettler, we were kind of, buddies and grew that friendship. And then, he asked me to come announce the high school rodeo. And I don't even think the high school rodeo was over yet. And I got hired for 2 more. So
2 more high school rodeos?
Yeah, I did. I think Butch Smith got me to announce Rimby, which was had it at Diamond 5. And then the Grover family, Melissa Grover, they asked me to do Hand Hills High School Rodeo. Yeah. So, man, I was rolling. I think I got paid $500 for the weekend, and I was on cloud.
That's the life. That's the life, man.
Oh, loving it.
And 8 hours of high school rodeo each day
for $500 on the weekend.
Oh.
Dang.
Making the big money.
So then when did you come across Dave Polson, and when did you guys become friends, and how big of an influence? We talked about Dennis being a big influence on the firefighting side when you were going on the applying to Calgary, but Dave, you and Dave are buddies and have worked together at probably more than most.
Yeah, so I did my 2 or 3 years of high school rodeos announcing. And Tyson Peach actually, again, got me my first Wild Rose rodeo up in Fairview with Trevor Young. And so I did my first Wild Rose rodeos in 10. 2011, I did a shit ton. I did Fairview, Valley View, White Court, everything north.
All the big stops.
All the big stops.
The North Run.
North Run. And I got a call from the Wild Rose that year. And they said, hey, would you like to put your name in for the finals? This is in 2011. And I said, sure. So I remember I got a call a couple of weeks later and like, hey, Dustin, like you got the Wild Rose finals. I was so pumped. But at the time, and you have to hear this story from Brett, but Brett said he got a call and they're like, yeah, Brett, we got Dustin Edwards to do it. And he's like, who the hell is Dustin
Edwards? Because Brett did that. That was kind of Brett's starting point too, was the Wild Rose. And he went to like Athabasca and Fort Assiniboine and like a lot of those places for a long time. Yeah.
I basically like our career paths were like mirrored. Like he did like high school rodeos, Wild Rose, and then got the finals. But so 2011, my finals.
Took his job.
Yeah.
Did you?
So I'm just like, this is my NFR, and they sent me Dave Paulson's number, and they're like, you should call him, just touch base with him. And I was so nervous to phone him. Like at home, we had CFCN. That was like the only channel we had on the antenna. So I watched like Dave do Calgary every year. You know, like he was like my idol. So I phone him, and I can't remember the whole gist of the call, but it was kind of like, I remember calling him like, hey, Dave, this is Dustin Edwards calling. And he's like, oh, who are you?
Who are you?
Who the hell are you?
This is 2011, right? 2011?
Yeah. So this is 11 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'm announcing the Wild Rose finals with you. Oh, okay. And then
what happened to Brett?
Yeah. Okay. Well, screw that Gardner guy. And man, so we get to Barhead, right? Like I'm thinking this is like greatest thing ever. And you know, me and Dave are visiting beforehand, and we're looking at notes, and he's like, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm so nervous." He's like, "Remember, if you screw up, the only people that are gonna know is just all those people out there listening." But man, me and Dave, like we just had an instant bond, and you know, everyone always talks about us like, you know, being co-announcers and working together, but like Dave is truly one of my best friends. Like we talk, text all the time. He's always sending me smart ass things about the Dragons and the Canucks. And yeah, we become like best friends, and we've had so many good laughs and good memories over the years.
Well, and you mentioned the Canucks. He's been a big influence in your hockey side of things, right? Because he's been involved with he was involved with the Canucks for such a long time, so he kind of helped guide you down that hockey path too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. He was the PR guy for the Canucks, and he worked for the AJHL. So like same thing, like a similar kind of journey that when I was going through it, like I leaned on Dave, and you know he's came down to some games and spent the night here and hung out. And yeah, Dave. A lot of people don't know, but Dave's a hockey guy. Like he's been around the hockey side of things. So the Canucks beat us last weekend, and within 20 minutes, I get an email from Dave just being like, "You guys suck." Like, the mighty Dragons have fallen. So.
Oh dear.
When you guys even had was it a beard off or a mustache off a couple of years ago?
Oh yeah.
The most pathetic beard contest. Yeah, me and Dave grew out beards for Pincher Creek Rodeo. We didn't shave from Medicine Hat till Pincher Creek, and
that's a long time.
Dave kicked my ass.
Oh dear. Okay, so what's your best Dave story, or is it an experience you both shared together in Medicine Hat with a certain parachute person? I'll let you take it from here on which one it might be.
I got a couple of good ones. I'll go back to the parachute, but one year we did the CFR telecast from Edmonton. It was the last CFR in Edmonton. It was like minus 30 that week. It was freezing cold. And they said, hey guys, we're not going to have you in the studio this year. You're going to work out of a TV trailer. Okay. The TV trailer was driven up from Texas.
Oh no.
And in Texas, they don't require heaters. And where we broadcast from, I'll have to show you the picture. We were actually in the gooseneck of the trailer. So me and Dave had to hunch down like this. We were in a 5-foot crawl space and no heat.
What the hell?
And we froze our bags off. And halfway through the broadcast, I remember Dave just like radioing the trailer. He's like, you guys got to get us heat, or by the time we get to the team roping, we'll both be dead.
Yeah, we'll be icicles.
So they have the TV crews they were from the PRCA in the States. They were driving around like buying space heaters from like Walmart for us and stuff.
Jeez. Well, that was a weird year too, because that was on like the Pro Rodeo Network or some shit. It wasn't even a PRCA rodeo, and it was on the fucking PRCA network.
Yeah, it was Pro Rodeo TV, I think they called it. It was their attempt at a streaming service. It never came to fruition. But,
not even at a PRCA rodeo.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they had mutton busting or something in the arena that night. And so we were in the trailer frozen, and they had cut back from commercial to a shot of the sheep in the arena. And the first thing that came to my mind, I don't know why, I said, "Oh, I'd sure like to wrap myself around one of those sheep right about now." And Paulson is never at a loss for words. And he just turned and looked at me and was just like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, because like I'm cold and the wool," and I just put my foot in my mouth. Yeah, he never lets me live that one down.
Dustin, big fan of sheep.
Big fan of sheep. I think Monty texted me. I think Monty Phillips texted me within minutes, just being like, "What the hell did you just say?"
Oh gosh.
But Medicine Hat, that was a good one. So Medicine Hat Stampede. That was actually Dave's first pro rodeo. And I think he's announced there 46 years. Like, he's an icon there. But we are getting ready to do the perf, and they tell us that they're going to start the perf with the para jumpers.
Okay, and when do they tell you this? Like, how far in advance did you get this info? Because we know, like, rodeo production, there's some that like produce a lot, and there's some that produce a bit, and there's some that produce none. I'm curious, when did you find this out?
I think it was like not long before. Like, we didn't have, there was no script. Like, we didn't have to introduce them. It was just like, "Hey guys,
doing this.
These guys are going to jump into the arena, these parasailers." So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So we're in the booth, and like, there's this big overhead out the booth to keep the sun out. So neither of us can actually see the paragliders. We're like, well, let's go outside and check. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So the paragliders are coming down, but because there was no production, and they were doing it before the grand entry, like, there wasn't music playing. There was really nothing. It was just people watching these guys come into the. So I'm like, I should start filming this. So I pull up my camera and I start recording. And this guy's coming down, but because there's no music, you can hear him. And I think you can even hear him in the video. He starts yelling, "Oh shit, oh shit." This is the paraglider. And you can tell, like, he's not near the arena yet. He's a ways back. And this poor bastard comes down, and Medicine Hat has all welded, like, 8-foot
drill stem, basically.
Yeah. And this poor bastard smokes the drill stem and just gets dummied. And he's in the stud pen with one of Kessler's stud horses.
Oh no.
And his leg is like not broken. It is snapped in like.
It's a compound fracture. It's bad.
Yeah. It's a compound. This guy ain't walking for a long time.
Oh man. Gotta love
it. I think in the video, I think it was Jeff or Jason Rash go like running over, and they're like, they helped him out because there's this big stud horse in this pen, and this poor bastard just crippled up inside the arena. So needless to say, the Canadian flag did not get into the arena that day. And
jeez.
And it was pretty wild. It was one of the craziest things I've seen. This guy was in rough shape.
Jeez. There's got to be some more other crazy rodeo stories. I know one, speaking of like places with Air Force bases close by, how the fuck did you end up in the arena like a Brazilian announcer throwing your hat at a bull?
Oh man, I forgot about this. This is good. This is so funny.
Well, I don't know who it was. I think it was Monty. There was a video going around of that Brazilian announcer that would jump in the arena and like fan bulls with his hat.
They fucking all do it, man. They all do it.
Yeah. Like the one guy brought out a fire extinguisher and started spraying the bull, like just crazy shit. And Monty tagged me in the post, and then I think it was Dallas Burns as well. And they're like, "No, dare you to do this." So the bull riding at Suffield used to be sanctioned by BRC, and then that year they decided to open. I'm like, well, okay, this is my chance to go do something like this because it's not affiliated with anything. So Gator's doing the music, and I just said, hey, like, I'm just going to jump down and go do this. And Dirty Mike was riding, Michael Stashik, and he had this little black bull of Jim's that I knew was just a nice little spinner, just came out and around. And I think, I can't remember who was bullfighting, Levi Hale maybe, and Jory
probably. Yeah.
Jory had it on GoPro, and I just walked out there, and they were set up, and they looked over like, what are you doing? I said, you boys just stand back. I said, I got this. If you seen the video, that bull just turns back. I got the wireless mic, and I'm just banning him. I think I tapped him on the nose once or twice, and it gets done, and everybody's just cheering and going nuts and so excited. And Dirty Mike was like 84 points in this bull, and we get done, and my heart was just racing, right? I'm like, this is super cool. I finally did it. And Dirty Mike comes up to me. He's like, man, if you would have taken that bull out of the spin and like fucked me, like
I'd have killed you.
Oh, shit.
Well, what are some of the other moments from your rodeo career that stand out? Like highlights, lowlights, crazy wrecks that you've seen?
Oh. So tell us about our careers, about what you remember of our careers too. I want to put that in there.
All right. Well, first I'll start with the craziest wreck I ever seen was when they had the Glen Keeley bull riding on with Okotoks, I would go for a couple of years and announce the Okotoks perf that Dave had to miss for the bull riding. And my first year there, it was Chuck Schmidt, American bronc rider. He got bucked off. I don't know if it was Pedro or like it was a big black horse of Vold's, and he got catapulted Pedro, like a lawn dart and landed on his neck, and he broke. Like I don't know, like they stars them or air ambulance him to Vancouver. He like landed hard, and I was announcing, and it was like my first wreck at a pro rodeo that I was on the mic for, and I was just like so shooken up, and that was pretty damn crazy seeing that go down. That was a bad one. And then one that was really one of the worst wrecks I'd seen. I was working the PBR Canada finals with you, Ted, and Brett. And I was on I had a wireless mic, and I was about to do a presentation in the arena or something. And I was standing on the chute. It's when Posey got his helmet stepped on, and his helmet split right in half. And I was like,
he was knocked
12 feet from it. And I remember like just sick to my stomach. But those are the two crazy kind of wrecks.
I was on the music, and it was bad enough that Leanne was calling me, and I think Jade called, like Ty's family was calling, and I was working and had to leave. Like I had to give it back to somebody else to go, like, and Rusty was freaking out. Yeah, that was
crazy. And then two kind of fun ones that I kind of remember that stand out was one was a couple years ago at Carsland. A bull got out and was touring through the crowd. That was pretty crazy. And then, not that it was a funny story, but I went and announced a bush rodeo one time for Jim Lowry, and he had cow riding Long Island Lake, but he does both those. Yeah. And he was a cow riding, and this cow bucked this kid off, and they had steel drill stem posts right in front of the grandstand. And this rodeo is full, like a couple thousand people at this thing. And this cow goes running and runs straight into the post right in front of the grandstand and just falls over dead.
Oh no.
Like it was bad. And Jim turns around and looks up, and he's like, Dustin, say something, like distract him. And I had this like schedule of events right beside me, like to read off for the weekend. And I just looked down. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, coming up tonight is the beef on the bun dinner. And he's like running over to this cow, and he just turns back and looks, and he's just like,
fresh Alberta beef. It's going to be the cow that died in the arena is what's going to be served for the beef on a bun.
Yeah, so that one was kind of fun for sure. So.
Oh dear, that's rough. We might have to cut that part out. That's rough. Fuck. Okay. My last question though, I'm curious. Like, did you ever announce Wacey in the arena? I know you did for me. I was wondering what you remembered. If you remembered our short-lived rodeo careers.
Well, I definitely announced you, Ted, and I think my claim to fame is I don't think I've ever announced you on an 8-sec, like make it qualified bull my career.
High school, maybe. After that,
high school you know what though? Going back to that, the high school rodeos back then were ranked. Like when I was announcing high school rodeos, like you guys had some hands coming through, and like, you know, you guys were good back then. Like guys weren't
not now, but
you had to claw to get those damn points, man.
Well, it's kind of crazy. The one year I think like it was it would have been 08, would have been like Ty Patton, Posey, myself, Tanner Byrne, both Larsons. Maybe that was 07. We're all at the high school finals at the same time in Medicine Hat. It was kind of wild. Like Tyrell and Oren have both made the NFR now. Then you've got like Ty went to the PBR finals. Tanner Byrne, you know, has done pretty good too. I stayed on a couple at that point, but like there's some pretty good cats at that point. It was pretty neat.
Oh, it was rank, man. Like, and I remember like, you know, the team roping back then, guys were winning with like 3 9s and 4 flats. You know, you had like just, you know, like past you guys, like, like Colton Schmidt and those kids roping really
Jake
good.
Vold.
Yeah, Jake Vole, like, you know, Kyle Lucas was in the calf roping back then. And like all those kids were they were good then. Like high school rodeos were like, like I announced like Zeke was riding bulls, riding broncs, Leighton
too,
Clay, Elliott, like, and those kids were ranked. Like those rodeos were like, they were fun to announce and fun to be at. Like it was good watching.
It's good time. And the parties at the Joneses were fun too.
Yeah. I think Wacey, did you make the first ever BRC finals, Wacey?
I was the only Saskatchewan boy to make the first ever BRC finals.
Look at that.
So that's where our trio was like, Wacey made the BRC finals. It was Ted's first sound gig. Ted didn't even know how to plug in the sound.
Yeah, I remember that's funny shit.
I didn't even know how to plug my music in. I thought I lost my music because I changed the pathways and sports sounds. I had to play. I played Sandstorm like 3 times the same night. It was one
we froze our bags off in Cold Lake in January. But yeah, no man, I'll give Wacey credit. He was a good bull rider back in the day. I'm sure I announced him make 1 or 2 big time rides.
1 or 2.
I could stay on a few, and I wanted to.
Oh wow!
So, there's okay. Go ahead, Ted. There's another story that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the great potato chip famine of 2019. That turned into like one of like our most successful Twitter threads. We were on our way from Bymore to Watcher, Saskatchewan for a bull riding. Had a bit of an interesting journey. You and I thought you were going to chew my arm off at one point.
Oh man! So it was like Saturday night. I remember we get done. I was announcing Bymore, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like we didn't get any food at Bymore. I was like, well, we'll just get something on the way. Like let's get
like Provost, whatever. Yeah, I thought whatever is going to be. Yeah.
We hit every town from Bymore, Alberta to Watcher, Saskatchewan. No stores open.
No snacks.
We were so hungry. We stopped at a Red Rooster in like, I don't know where. Where was that?
It was bigger. Your hometown saved us. That was our saving grace.
But just before that, we stopped at Red Rooster. I was going to pull the ball hitch out of my truck and smash the vending machine.
It was, wasn't it Maidstone?
Somewhere like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those because there was a vending machine out front of the store and all we had was like $1.50 and change. So we bought an iced tea that we
shared an iced tea. Like, it was like we were on a stranded island. We were like passing back and forth taking sips.
Rationing our iced tea.
Rolling a bigger liquor store and we got a bag of beef jerky
and some dill pickle chips. Yeah, that was so. I remember we were so hungry, and that's like exactly. I think we said those exact words, like, "Oh, we don't need to get a beef on a bun at Bymore." Like, I think it was a long weekend. That's why everything was closed like so early on a Friday. Yeah, and we're driving to Saskatoon, and I have never been more hungry in my life. Like trying to get some snacks. Like it was like middle of the night.
4-hour drive though, too, right? Like Bymore.
It was late. It was late at night though. We left at Bymore at like probably 10.
But it's 4 hours.
Saskatoon.
How do you guys die in 4 hours of starvation?
We had an 8 cents lunch, Ted.
It was bad. We were tweeting like,
it seems like bad
our whole journey.
well, it was like it was bad planning on our end. Like we should have just grabbed a beef on a bun and Bymore and been okay, but we're just let's get the hell out of here and go to Saskatoon.
You never thankfully small bull riding cabarets too early. That's where you guys went wrong too.
Never leave them too early. We had to work the next day, Ted.
Yeah, but you also lived in Big Valley at the time too, didn't you, Dustin? Like
I lived 10 minutes from the Bymore Arena at the time.
Yeah, and you could have like went home and left at like 8 o'clock in the morning and probably been fine.
We screwed ourselves.
No, we got there. We set up. I showed because one of my other claims to fame in watchers is I put the tin on the roof. That was my first roofing job ever. I think I drove around the rink like 4 times. We got to watchers to show Justin that I put that tin up there.
Yeah. Like there's like random people coming into the arena. Wacey's like, hey guys, that tin, I put.
That's me.
I've contributed to the watchers community in a big way.
Oh shit. What else do we got here? Are we almost wrapped up, boys, or what else do we want to get to here? I think we got to ask like some of the favorite rodeos, some of the favorite moments that way, or some of the big moments too. We didn't really talk about that on like some of the most fun stuff you've been on the mic for, or most memorable moments. And I think we got to talk about the broadcast too, because you actually have schooling in that, and you've done the CFR how many times now? At least 3 times you've done the broadcast too. You're one of the few people in our industry who are formally educated on the broadcast side of things. Actually know what you're doing. Yeah.
No, I think me and Dave have done. I think we've done 5 actually now. 5, I think this last year was number 5 for us. I did 1 year with Tim, I guess, too, just without Dave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's super cool. I love announcing, but I love like the behind the scenes, like production. I love being on camera and commentating and not having to just be the in-house announcer. Like I love educating and, the narratives and the storylines. So I love doing the TV. I've been so fortunate to do that for the CFR. I find more joy in that sometimes than just being on the mic for the events, just because you get to be part of the telling the story to people, right? And that's been a lot of fun. It's been some of my favorite moments for sure.
One of my favorite things that I worked with you is the Wild Rose Finals 2019. I somehow ended up getting that job from Sean. I think, and that was another town that didn't have anything open late. So we were like going to the grocery store and trying to find food after the perf. Like it was just, we were battling so hard. But that was one of the funnest weekends, rodeo weekends I've had doing music.
All those little, like Ted, you can attest, like all the little small finals. And that has been some of the best fun I've had, like the Wild Rose Finals, FCA Finals, like LRA Finals, Ricky Ticky's blowing shit up left and right. Like college, I did the college finals in Edmonton for a few years, and Ricky Ticky, actually I gotta tell that story. The 1 year at the college finals, because it's in Northlands, like it's very obviously under the microscope of like animal rights and like things like that. So the 1 year in the first perf, I think it was when Chunky's bucking horses went down and had a bad leg. So after the rodeo, we have a little meeting and they say, okay, nothing, nothing's come of it. We're not getting in trouble for this, blah, blah, blah. Second night, a calf goes down. They bring out the sled. They vet the calf. All is good. Said, hey guys, we got a call from like the Edmonton Sun or somebody just, about this animal, and let's just be careful out there. So that night, Ricky Ticky brings out his skunk. And
the same night or the next night? Because he was supposed to not bring in any animals, right?
That's right. So he brings his skunk out and he picks it up by the tail like he does, right? And he carries it and throws it in his box. Well, someone from the media just goes nuts and they have a shitstorm with Ricky Ticky skunk. So the team at Northlands, we have a meeting. They're like, okay, Rick, no more live animals. Like we can't risk it, right? He's like, yeah, sounds good. So the final perf, Ricky lets loose all his painted chickens.
And there's a lot of people at the college finals. There was like 3,000 or 4,000. Like it was a big crowd.
It was a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, this is when it was on with like Egger Trade, right? Or Egger Fair or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like we get done the rodeo and like we have our little like post-mortem like meeting after, and the girls from Northlands are like, Ricky, like we said no more live animals. Like what is wrong with you? He's like, I already painted the chickens. So that was a funny story.
Oh man.
You spoke to like my favorite rodeo memory. My best rodeo memory, I wasn't even involved in the arena. It was in 2016 when all the guys from Canada won the world in Vegas. Getting a share in that, we ended up on a party bus that night and celebrating with those guys. Like everyone always asks me my favorite rodeo memory, and that's it for sure.
Well, and Zeke being from your hometown, like that's such a huge deal. Like being able to celebrate that with those people would have been such a cool moment.
Yeah, and we ended up on a party bus that night. We rented a bus right afterwards, and Corb was on there, and
I think I've been on there for a while too with you, didn't I?
Yeah, we ended up like it started out with like 6 of us, and by like the end of the night, it was packed. Like, remember like Don and Suzanne DePoli were on there, and Jenner Meston and Lindsay Butler was singing, and Corb was singing, and we just got right wrecked. And we ended up partying with Zeke and all those guys afterwards. And like, I remember like seeing Linda right after we found out Zeke won, and like we're all from Big Valley. We all grew up together. It was like it wasn't my moment, but it was the coolest moment that I ever got to be a part of in rodeo was that night and seeing all those guys.
What's the most money you lost on a Vegas trip back in your gambling days?
Oh, probably 10K.
That was back in the when you were making that big oil money before the downturn, eh?
Because you and Gator were high rollers in Vegas.
Oh, man. One time we took Teddy over to the high limit slots and we got him playing. I think we won a little bit of money that night, Ted. Hey.
Yeah, I think we did, but then I think we lost it all back at the link on the roulette the next night.
Yeah, but we were walking down the Vegas Strip and we had all this money. And this guy had this karaoke thing set up on the strip, and you could pay $5 to sing a song. And Gator just walks up to the guy and like throws him a $100, and he's like, "I'm gonna be here for a while." Gator just proceeds to like put on like a 1 hour long concert on the strip.
Gator loves that stuff.
I remember being
Gator.
in that point. Like I was pretty loaded at this point, but I remember I don't know if it was if the three of us were singing it or what it was, but it was Laredo from Chris Kegela. We were singing
yeah,
Laredo on the strip. Yeah, with Gator's $100 bill.
And then Gator sang Amazed, and me and Teddy were slow dancing just randomly. Yeah. And he's coming down the strip.
Oh man, so many good times.
10,000. What's your biggest hit down there? Then you probably had somewhere you made some cash too.
I think my biggest win on one time was probably like 4 or 5K. I think.
Yeah.
The most I've ever like had in my pocket after a night of gambling was like probably 20 large.
20,000 cash you had, or did you have it in chips?
In cash, yeah.
Dang, I almost need a briefcase.
Did you take it home with you, or did you like? Is it as much as we think it is, or is it just like a couple stacks? What is it?
It's not. It's very underwhelming when it's in hundies, but I don't think I came home with any of it. I came home with $0.
Oh, you lost it back the next night.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just go hard, baby.
That's when you'd fly so close to the sun at that point, though. You'd think you're so invincible. Like, I got 20K, I'm gonna keep rolling all weekend. Next thing you know, it just pit of despair.
Oh yeah, you're getting bottle service, you're getting a VIP table. Then at 7 a.m, you're walking through the casino looking for something shiny on the
floor. Got your last $5, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you look back at those now and you're like, what the fuck was I doing? I spent all this money. Sorry, the thing cut out. But do you look back at that and be like, geez, what the hell? Or what do you think about that now?
Yeah, and I have my best times, my best memories are from that. So to me, that was damn money well spent.
Yeah, no regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah. No regrets, baby. I love the Vegas.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, and you guys went back again this last. You were just there like a month ago.
We went and did the
first time in a while.
Golden Knights. Did a Golden Knights game, and checked all that out. It was rocking. Yeah, we're got the itch again. It'd been a few years, so.
And you had some money, so you again from having a good year. Wasn't it the chicken feed money or the goat feed money? Loonies?
Yeah, you get all the loonies from the feeders at Barney's. But we went down, and then I got totally pissed. Some guy beside us won like 138 large on one spin.
Whoa! Oh my god, that's so cool.
Nothing gets your blood pumping more than someone winning beside you. And
I won the money. What did you think of the Vegas Golden Knights game, like from your hockey standpoint?
There's nothing like it, and I think that it's almost like a blemish on like Alberta teams like Edmonton, Calgary, that they're not following the lead on that, because you get so much more value going to one of those games than you ever will in Canada, and I think like their teams are stupid if they're not replicating that right now. It's so good. I think good.
One of the things I noticed was the volume. I felt like the entire atmosphere was based on the volume. If we could crank it up here a bit more, I feel like it'd be a game changer for, I think we have the volume, but I don't think they use it. I don't know if it's like team policy or if it's production or if we need some new production crew, or like, I feel like Vegas was a lot of volume, and like that really created the atmosphere. I could be wrong, but Being on the audio side and the production, it was huge difference in volume.
You're right. I think it's like why everyone's so like I say this with like no disrespect to people, but like I don't know if it's like our season ticket base. It's even at the CFR, like you go to the NFR, the PBR World Finals, it's loud, it's happening. Then the CFR, you got people going to ushers saying the music's too loud and turn it down. And like Calgary, you get like the salty old season ticket holders that are like don't want change and
no fun.
You know, they want George Canyon to sing the anthem every night, nobody else. Like,
it's not an entertaining product.
Status quo, man. We're so far behind, we don't even realize it.
The one thing that I noticed about to the football game we went to, like there was never a moment where they weren't trying to engage the crowd. Like there was always something to have you keep engaged with what was happening in the building or on the ice. So it's like, it was always something. Whereas like I went to my first Flames game, I guess would have been against the Golden Knights a couple weeks ago. And you just, there's so many lulls in the game where they have the opportunity to keep people engaged with it, but they just don't know how to do it or they don't have the capacity for it. That was the one thing I really appreciated about it. Like, for example, that club we went up to on the one side of the rink where we met Keenan, like they play the in-game feeds, like the broadcast feed into the speakers up there so you can hear what's going on in the game. But as soon as there's a stoppage in play, it's straight to like DJ club music. Like there's always like ways that they keep people going, which I really think is kind of the way you have to, even with what we do in rodeo, we have to approach it that way. They find ways to keep people engaged throughout the whole show to give them that much more value.
Yeah, I wish you could load up, and which I'm sure most of them have, but if you could just load a bus with everyone involved in like pro sports in Canada and pro rodeo and whatever, and just go down to Vegas, go to a PBR World Finals, and say, okay, guys, this is the standard. Everyone do this. Canada be so much better off entertainment-wise, but that's a whole other conversation. I can see Ted already giggling about it over there. So.
yeah, another whole story. Wacey, you got anything else? Dustin, what do you guys think?
One more thing before we get to our final question. What's 2022 looking like? What do you have? Like, what's there some goals or some stuff coming up that you're excited for?
Getting engaged.
Just man, I bought a house. That's worse than a ring.
We just start a side pot with we have like a group chat between all of us pals, and there's a few guys who are we're waiting in the wings to get engaged. I think we should start a little like side pot. We can put some odds on it. Who's first to get hitched?
Has Monty engaged it, or is he?
No, he's got some children.
He's on the way. Kids on the way. Yeah.
So between Monty and Covey and Teddy, myself,
JD,
I'm probably the furthest odds. Like
Wacey's the long shot on this.
I'm the long shot.
Gator will surprise us all.
Oh, that's true.
He's on the board now though, because he's like him and his old lady are pretty good match. Those two.
His first serious relationship, maybe in quite a while.
In a while.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if 2022 will sprout any engagements in this household, but you never can rule it out.
Never say never, baby.
Yeah, I'm just I just dare peoples to put on a good sale and tempt me, I guess.
But, Eddie, we forgot to talk about the Jay Leno thing. We're gonna try and find that clip somehow. But the Jay Leno thing, you've been a broadcast icon for a long time here, and we got to talk about.
Oh yeah, I was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. It was in 2008. I was in Los Angeles, and I was at Universal Studios with a buddy of mine. This lady came up and she said, "Hey, we're looking for some seat fillers for the Tonight Show. It's taping in like an hour. They tape it at noon or 1 o'clock, like early." I said, okay. So we go, and we're pretty like third row up at the Tonight Show. And so they film the show in segments. It's not like, it doesn't flow like you see on TV, obviously. And so at one point in the show, Jay Leno comes out and he's talking to the crowd. And he says, "Hey, we're filming a segment called Jay's Most Talented Audience Members," or something like that. So we're looking for people in the audience with cool, unique talents. We're doing this thing. So anybody want to? So this first guy goes up, and he was a young guy, and he goes up and he's a juggler. So he juggled 3 cell phones, and everyone claps and cheers, whatever. And he's done. And then the next girl that went up was, I think she did like gymnastics or something. Yeah, she did like a handspring or some crazy shit right up on the Tonight Show stage. He's like, "All right, anybody else?" And that's what it was. The best one of the 3 was going to get a swag bag from the Tonight Show. So I stick up my hand, and my buddy beside me is like, "What are you doing?" And he points at me. So I go up on the stage, and he asked you where you're from, and I was in shorts, and this was in like October in LA. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're from Canada." And a lot explains it like you're the only guy here wearing shorts. And so he's like, "So what's your talent?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna play the bagpipes." And he's like, "Oh, you carry them around in your back pocket?" I'm like, "No, just watch." So I'm like, "I need you to hold the mic for me." So Jay Leno was holding the microphone like right beside me, and I did the throat bagpipes. I'm sure you guys have seen before.
I think you should show us.
Yeah, you gotta give us an example for the people, man. Yeah, you
don't hurt yourself though. Don't strain yourself. Don't strain yourself.
Oh my God.
That had the crowd just going nuts, and Jay Leno was pissing himself laughing, and needless to say, I won the swag bag and I won the contest. And Jay Leno asked where I learned that, and I said, "Oh, I don't know how to party." He goes, "That's that strong Canadian beer for you."
Oh, dear.
That's awesome, man.
Have you ever busted it out at a rodeo event or after? Like, could you actually? I challenge you to this before you're done your rodeo career. Brett Gardner sang the anthem in Prince Albert last year, but I think you could bagpipe the anthem with your.
Okay, I'll do it.
That's your challenge for 2022. Okay, throw bagpipe the Canadian anthem.
It might have to be somewhere like at one of Jim's bush rodeos, but
yeah.
Watch your Saskatchewan bull riding.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That was my claim to fame. I don't think I've ever really busted out anywhere else that I can remember, but
that's fucking funny shit.
Holy. Do you want to pose some of these questions for the last part of the show for Dustin, or do you want to just wrap it up? What do you think? Wacey?
I think we can just.
Did we miss anything, Dustin?
We have one more question we got to ask him.
Yeah, but I want to ask first though. Did we miss anything? Like I'm trying to think of like other stuff, but I mean I don't know. We kind of went a lot of ways on this one.
I don't really have any other thing that my claim to fame is in my life. Getting accepted on a Big Brother is my only cool thing.
Oh yeah, but you didn't go to that either, right?
No, because we were going to China.
Oh yeah, with the PBR, we were supposed to do that in August of 2014.
Yeah, we just got all that money and didn't have to go. But I don't really have much else.
Tell that story because that was kind of funny too. The application process. No, the Bachelor. No, that
was Big Brother.
Yeah. Because Wacey, didn't you have an interview with them too? How'd that?
Yeah, I did. I never got made to the next round, but I had a recruiter reach out to me on Instagram, and then I did a video interview with her, and then I sent her some forms, and then she said I heard from her in December and never panned out.
That's how I got recruited. Wacey. I was at the CFR in Edmonton, and this lady came up to me and she said she was a casting agent with Big Brother, with a reality show. CFR, I was doing TV with Paulson, and so then they reached out, and I did probably 4 or 5 Skype interviews with a casting director and the producers from California. And then, I think I had to go through all these aptitude tests, and I had to do a 160-page psychological survey.
Holy.
And then it was I can't remember when it was, but then I got initially accepted as one of the cast members of the show. And man, I had plane tickets to Toronto and the whole works. But in the meantime, JD had hooked us up with me and Teddy up with Casey Duggan, right?
Yeah.
And the PBR was going to China for 3 months.
And we were going to live at a golf course and be there for 3 months and just do bull ridings. And I was going to do music and announce and write and do social and shit. And Eddie was going to announce and I was maybe even going to ride a fucking bull at some point.
Yeah. So we were going to China, the PBR was blowing up this PBR China deal, and they brought all these bulls from Australia, and it was in Qingzhou, and it was going to be this big thing. So it was well, do I miss 3 months of work for Big Brother? Do I miss 3 months of work for the PBR? And in the final minute of decision, I chose the PBR, and I turned down Big Brother. And luckily, they had a contingent of 5 or 6 people that they could pick from in case someone bailed, which I did. And then, then China got canceled. Me and Ted I got canceled like 2 months worth of rodeos. And then like 3 days before we were supposed to go, Jim Hayworth was the CEO, had like a conference call, and they're like, man, China's toast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they paid us all of our money in US, and I went on
the contract.
I went on a 7-star vacation in Mexico with the money and got caught in a hurricane. Fucking got mucked out in Cabo in a hurricane.
Oh dear. Well, and then
good year.
You got to tell the story about the Big Brother application though. About what was the deal? You were with a partner at the time, and there was a question about like, was it about kissing somebody or something?
Showmance probably.
Oh yeah, they asked me about a showmance. I was doing a Skype, and the girl I was with at the time could hear from the kitchen. And they asked me if I would get in on a showmance or kiss someone on TV, and I said yes.
Fuck yeah.
You said didn't you say you'd like I'd kiss anybody to be on TV, or you had some sweet.
I said line. I said I'd kiss a man or a woman if it meant winning your $50,000 brick gift card.
Yeah.
That was like the runner-up prize back then. It was like a $50,000 brick gift card.
That's so funny.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So that was good times.
Oh dear. Okay, well I don't know where else to go, Wacey. I think
we've hit all the points, man. Yeah, it's been a good time.
Hope you've enjoyed it, Eddie.
Oh, it's been a blast. Happy to be on here and tell some stories, and I'm just glad nothing rated R with Gator came up from any of the Vegas talks.
Well, I guess what else are some of the goals here moving forward? Like on the rodeo side of things, you were really less busy last year on that side of it. There's still a few events you're going to go to. You did some production stuff with Chad with Alpha Bowl. Done lots of production stuff with Calgary Stampede too. What does the rodeo career look like in the next few years for you, as far as way things are going with Barney's, and what are some of the goals? I guess I'm kind of curious about that. We haven't talked about that in a while.
I think for me, like knowing the potential to kind of grow Barney's and the business, like that entrepreneurial spark's really lit in me right now. So I really want to grow that, and with that comes sacrifice. Obviously, on the rodeo side, last year I didn't go work at Calgary because it was our first week opening Barney's, and I'm 33. Like I've been able to work at Calgary in the CFR and lots of really great rodeos, and I think that rodeo is always going to be there. So not that I'm putting rodeo on the back burner, but I'm shifting my efforts elsewhere. And not only that, but like I love rodeo, but rodeo can be taken away from you really quickly too. You can be at a rodeo one year, not the next, and that money. There's no guarantees in that. So, I'm going to keep working for the communities that want me to come out there. And I really enjoy the production side. Love working with like Alpha Bowl and Calgary and doing production. I could see myself transitioning more into focusing on that when I get the opportunity than the announcing. Besides being in the arena for a CFR, that's the only rodeo that's really on my bucket list to announce. Probably anticlimactical because I've been there so much doing other stuff with the TV, but that would be it for me. I really want to keep growing Barney's. I don't want it to stop there. I want to be involved in numerous other business opportunities and, just keep growing my portfolio of projects. But yeah, I'm really eyeing in on the production side. And I'd like to see like in the off seasons with Barney's, if that can grow to more rodeo, maybe other sports, hockey, whatever. But that's where I'm really, really finding a passion again with the creative side of it, because announcing, you don't get to be creative. You're just part of the dialogue, and I love the creative stuff. So that's kind of where it's going for me right now, for sure.
How much have things changed working with Blair and Cam, like the Christensen crew, and what are some of the things that those guys have taught you on the business side? Because they're probably some of the most, I don't want to say first, but some of the more influential people on your career, and those guys have done very well. And there's been a lot, I want to say you've absorbed a lot being around them and learned a shitload working with those guys.
Yeah. And it's like, if you put in the work, it'll happen, and nothing's impossible, right? Like, don't say no to any opportunity. Like, man, you could walk through a trade show with that guy, and 1 minute you could be potentially a dealer for portable cell phone chargers, and the next minute you could be selling cotton candy machines. Like I don't know. There's just everything's on the table, and man, I learned so much, like good and bad. But yeah, like before I was always so like stay in my lane, right? Like I announce a rodeo and check wells, and like now I'm like I'll try anything, man. Like I was cooking pizzas in Barney's 6 months ago just to learn it, right? Like, you know, like I don't know, nothing's off the table. I just want to go for any opportunity, see what comes from it. Say no, and just don't say no.
Yeah, just be a yes man.
Yeah, yes man.
And so, what are some of the other things you guys got cooking up right now, or can you, or do you want to talk about that? Or I'm curious about goals now too, though, about what some of the goals are and how you're working things that way.
Well, I think like obviously just growth of like what we've got going on. You know, I want to see Barney's. You know, to me, when I look at Barney's, I see something that's not even close to complete. You know, it's not like you build a hotel and it's ready to go and that's it, right? You do your thing. For me, it's just continue to grow the business and just keep growing it and making it happen. But man, Drumheller's so untapped. Like I see some really good opportunities down here with like more tourism options, camping, hospitality. So that's just got me going right now. Like just.
Well, if you need some help, just let us know.
Yeah, you're in.
I like it. Okay, Wacey.
Yeah, we're almost to the end of this. It's cool. I'm excited to ask you this question because you've kind of been along for the ride with us since the very beginning of this whole shitstorm that we've started. So yeah, the shit show basically that we've started. So the question we ask all of our guests, Dustin, what is your definition of cowboy shit?
Man, I've heard 100 and some plus people answer this question, and I've listened to almost all of them. And I was stumped even before I came on today to try and really come up with a good answer. But man, I think cowboy shit is like when the dust settles, when there's, whether you're at a rodeo or sitting in someone's basement, whether you got a gold buckle on or nothing. I think it's just like the respect and the friendships that you make from this whole thing. So to me, cowboy shit is just like the people you surround yourself with, the impact you have on them and the impact they have on you. And like for me, cowboy shit is like cheering on my buddies, you two, with this whole thing, you guys in my corner, you're in everybody's corner and everyone's in yours. Like that's cowboy shit to me. Whether it's rodeo involved or not, we're all just doing it and we've got each other's backs and just making shit happen.
I think it could be going from a 6-figure a year oil field job to taking your life by your hands and taking a job for $65,000 less a year and making a business out of it. That's some cowboy shit too.
I wouldn't be able to do without the relationships that rodeo gave me. So I'm thankful for that.
Thanks, Doug.
And even the community aspect side of things, that's cowboy. To me, that's cowboy shit, right? Like we're a community, we support each other. We're all in it together and kind of working towards the same common goal. I think that's a good summation of what cowboy shit could be too.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
You live and breathe it every day, baby.
Every day we're and my wins and losses are your guys' wins and losses. Like I feel like we're all kind of tied to it, right? No matter what we're doing.
Oh yeah, I like it. Well, thanks, Dustin. Thanks for doing this again, Dustin Edwards, our guest today. Thanks for joining us, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing. I can't wait to see where this thing grows for you guys, because in a few years we'll be talking about what you guys have done. Looking forward to it.
Hey, maybe. Well, and for those that are wondering about Barney's Adventure Park, she's closed for the season right now, but when are you opening up again in the spring? Barney's Adventure Park. Check them out. Barney'sDrumHeller.com. But Dustin, give us the lowdown. Some new stuff coming. It's rated 4.9 on Google. Just saying.
He's a big Google review guy.
Google.
How many of those reviews have you written yourself?
None, that's all. I didn't have time.
Well, May 1st, or what's the plan?
We're opening June 10th.
June 10th, okay.
And June 24th, we'll be open 7 days a week, all summer long till September long weekend. If you like corn mazes, zip lines, pig races, live dinosaurs, if you like cool shit, Barney's Adventure Park.
Watermelon cannons, pumpkin cannons.
Yeah.
You shoot everything out of that cannon. I shot Jello shooters of it at adults night.
Man, that is so good. That's amazing.
The other part I want to say too is that it's not just a kid's place. Like Wacey and I went and we had a fucking sweet time. So
Wacey, Ted, and Brinson were the last 3 visiting guests of 2021 at Barney's.
Yeah, we saw it.
We ran amok.
It was pretty fun time. So okay, thanks again, Dustin. Check out Barney's drumheller.com. Thanks for joining us, Dustin. We'll catch up with you soon, pal.
Thanks, guys.
We are back. Thank you for tuning in this week. We won't keep you much longer. Just got a couple more things to
touch on.
Thanks again to Dustin Edwards. Make sure you check out Barney's Adventure Park in Drumheller this summer once they're back open on June 10th. And I don't know what else to tell you.
That's it. It's a fun place. We have you caught our Instagram story the day we were there. We had a blast. It's an absolute. If you're in the Drumheller, Alberta area this summer, be sure to check out Barney's because it's a hoot.
You might even see us there.
It's a freaking hoot.
Probably for sure see our friend Dustin Edwards, unless he's not already at a rodeo near you. But yeah, great time, great show. Wacey, what do you got for the bottom wrap up for the people?
What would be your death row meal?
It'd be a really nice. Ooh, okay, it'd either be a steak.
You only pick one. There's no either. You got to pick one, bud.
Okay, I really like a good set of ribs. Long, cooked in the oven for a long time. Baby back ribs.
Nice.
Finish them off in the oven on the broiler, real hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get that nice caramel flavor on them, on those suckers. Yeah, that's my jam. Some baby back ribs. Probably some sometimes I make it easy and I just do like rice and peas. Or beans.
That's your death row meal. Last meal you're ever gonna have in your life.
Something easy, like to go with it. But nice, if I'm at a restaurant, that's what I'm gonna say. If I make
you're not at a restaurant. You're in jail. You're about to get dead. You're about to go to the electric chair. You can't change it. That's the question.
But the problem with the ribs though is somebody else might fuck them up. If I'm doing it, I know that I'm gonna get it right.
That's the risk.
Steak, I'm more likely that with steak and potatoes would be more likely to be good by somebody else cooking it. But I've had times with ribs where people fuck them up. So that's a tough one. If I'm not cooking it, it's probably gonna be the steak. Go ahead, Wacey. What do you got?
I would do a steak and garlic mashed potatoes, roasted spaghettis. There's a good steak,
tenderloin,
good old steak. You know where I've really been craving a steak from lately is the Keg.
Oh, really?
I've been jonesing for some Keg lately, which is funny. But I actually went to Joey Chinook, which is a restaurant in Calgary here with my mom and dad, and I had theirs. Like me and my mom got the exact same meal. It was like just like the 6-ounce sirloins.
Yeah,
but it came with like these.
Steak?
No, I'm not a peppercorn guy. My dad got the peppercorn though. But they came on the side with these like mashed potato crusties or something they called them. It was like mashed potatoes like fried on the outside and they kind of rolled up.
Oh, sounds interesting.
It was so good. Oh man, it was such a good side. But yeah, steaks are good. That'd 100% be my death.
That'd be you. Yeah.
One last steak.
One more steak tonight. What are you having tonight?
Maybe some soup.
Soup. Friday night soup.
Friday night soup.
Some games. Watch some Star Wars. Night.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish watching Star Wars here. I should go for a run, but it looks cold outside.
Yeah.
Maybe try again tomorrow. Maybe. And
what
then
should we wrap this up?
Yeah. Well, unless you want to do there's a debate between us that we've already asked this question, but I don't think that we have. Maybe this is something we just talked about before.
I would bet you $100 we already did this.
$100?
Yeah.
$100 is $100, man.
Have you got $100 to bet right now?
I don't.
How confident are you?
But I'm pretty confident. I'm confident.
I don't have $100 to bet right now. I don't have it.
Actually, I don't, but I'm pretty confident. But
yeah, I think we've already done it. But okay, go ahead, pose the question if you want.
Maybe one of our dedicated listeners can tell us if we've talked about this already. But would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Yeah, you've definitely done this.
I don't think I have.
Either we did that in a show or we've done this in like on a road trip somewhere. I think it had to be the 100 duck-sized horses.
Yeah, because horse-sized duck would be crazy.
It'd be scary
as shit. Yeah,
because what do we have for weapons? Right?
But with the horse-sized duck, you could get in tight. Like they don't have any arms or anything. They just have their feet.
They got wings.
Yeah, the wings are gonna do shit to you.
They might.
They might, but they don't know. I don't know.
See, a duck-sized duck is less dangerous than a horse-sized duck because they got little wings. And 100 duck-sized horses are really small. You just kick them. They go flying around.
Man, you would get tired. How many horse-sized ducks do you kick before you're too tired?
What are they gonna do? Bite you?
They're like wild mustangs, like pawing you and biting you.
Yeah, but they're tiny as shit. They're like this big.
Yeah, but there's a swarm of 100 of them. No, yeah, ducks are way bigger. Ducks are bigger than this, man.
Okay,
ducks are like this, but like this big.
This big.
Bet you man, there's ducks that are bigger than Ellie.
Fuck off. A duck's that big?
Yeah, ducks are huge.
Storm says that big.
Yeah, these big ass white ducks. Yeah, ducks are huge. Yeah, really? So 100 of those fuckers.
Fuck yeah, that would maybe hurt. I ain't that big.
And you had 100 of them around you at one time. Like they're swarming.
Okay, but what are the terms of the deal? Like what happens if I'm fighting this horse-sized duck? What do I have? Spare hands?
Thunder and lightning.
Look at how big his beak is.
It's gotta be. They're gonna be nimble. Try to get around it. But I would pick the 100-sized duck horses. Duck-sized horses.
It's almost like a little
tongue twister.
Tongue twister, yeah.
But I would pick that. But I think I'd get tired after like kicking like 20 of them.
Yeah, you might. It's true.
It's a lot of kicking.
It's true.
And what if they get behind you? If they circle around you, then you're toast, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Okay, we better wrap this up. Thanks for listening, everybody. And this has been Cowboy Show 10 Wacey. Thanks for enjoying our ridiculousness and staying tuned for this long. Thanks again to Dustin Edwards being on the show, Sean Morton, our editor. As always, we appreciate you, sir. And Storm Defoe on the graphics and the website and the merchandise. Check it out, cowboyshit.ca. If you got any guest ideas or any what I say? Oh man, where's our book from Carson Hauser? We never talked about that book yet. Do you have it handy? I don't know where mine is right now. Remember the Branding in the Rain? He gave us the book.
Mine's over here. It's over here. 1 second.
We need to talk about that book. I forgot about that. I don't know where the hell mine is right now. I've been toting it around to read it, and I've lost it. You got it. Man, we need to talk about this book. He's getting his headphones back on. Talk about the book for a while. Branding in the Rain. And it's Carson Hauser, right?
Yeah, Carson R. Hauser.
Yes. Show the quote on the inside of the book.
I will. I was going to read a little bit off the back, people. So, yes, Branding in the Rain, a collection of ranching and rodeo poetry, is the first printed anthology from North Dakota cowboy poet Carson Hauser, with a ranching heritage tracing back to several generations and an active rodeo career. Hauser combines rhyme, meter, rosin, and branding smoke to paint a picture of the life he lives and admires. It's cool. He sent both of us a copy, eh?
Yeah.
So and also he wrote a little passage in the beginning for both of us, personalized, which is cool. So Carson's definition of cowboy shit, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of this. Cowboy shit, the desire and action to persevere, promote, and encourage the Western way of life to future generations. So I really like how he articulates that. It's very nice. It's very nice. It kind of sums up our like point, or how we discuss it, as more of an essence rather than an actual like a thing. You know what I mean? It's more of like a way of living, or kind of a.
I'm a big fan of
what's the word I'm looking for? It's a big word. I'm gonna sound really smart if I can get it. A credo. The credo. That's a cool word, hey? Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
So thanks again. I've read a few of the poems actually in this. They're really good too. So
thanks. So check out the book. Where can people get it? Check out
there.
Found some info?
Does it say? I don't know if it says.
I know he's on the Instagram. That's where he reached out to us.
Yeah, check him out on Instagram. Do you know his handle?
Let me find it. Hold on.
I want to say I don't know exactly where you could get it, but I'm sure if you Google him.
I'm looking it up right now, quick. Gotta get the info in here. It's on Amazon.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Amazon.com. Check it out.
There you got it.
Yes.
Bam. Check it out on Amazon. You get the book. Branding in the Rain.
Facebook. It's
Branding
on
in
sale
the Rain by our friend.
for $16.99. Amazon.com.
You won't.
Yeah. Thanks.
$16.99 well spent.
Appreciate it. Awesome. Okay. From North Dakota. Awesome. Thanks, Wacey. Let's wrap this up. We'll catch everybody next time. See you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.